about Pyrocynical standing? I mean, in your opinion.
I mean, I think that he's like a gross irresponsible freak, right?
Don't start your
Yeah.
stream yet. Send me the thumbnail. Where's your...
Okay, we're back. We're back. Sorry about that. All right. Hopefully things are better. If they're not, then we're just fucked. Okay. Okay. Great. It is better. Great.
Okay, chat's fixed. Cool.
All right, chat's fixed. Hey, QQ, it ain't my fault. It was a local glitch. All right. You hear no music? Why would you hear music?
There's no music playing.
I'm not doing a new intro, buddy. We're just back. Okay. All right. Let's keep on going. So I'll say what I was just saying to Parlo's editor real quick. Please help, it's getting everywhere. Thanks for the 2. This is just a yap fest. And like, people aren't going to be watching every single example that you're going to give. You need to just give the strongest examples and say that you have other examples of that pattern or category. Okay. Otherwise, like, what is the fucking point of this, man? This is just not going to keep people's attention. Okay. And obviously, yes, Pyro is engaging in like very deplorable actions here. And that's exactly why this needs to be airtight and this needs to be done. Right? Great. Yeah, and if you guys tried to donate, it didn't come through, so go ahead and do that again. Okay.
Feign the excuse that you were never directly told about their age, just that you believe them to be an adult somehow, and that same person is telling you in numerous intervals that they're attending classes and are at school, and that their parents are not giving them any presents until the school year is over, highlighting their lack of independence. I'm guessing that you, the viewer, would probably then ask the same person how old they are, because those are some major red flags that you can't just magically...
It's never been... Okay. He knew that he was under 18 after that certain point, right? So, like, why is this even a point of contention? Like, he knew that he was under 18 after that certain point, right? So it's like, why are we making this a point of contention when he knew that he was underage, like under the age of 18 specifically, right? Like, I get it that, like, yeah, red flag, but, like, if he agrees, if even Pyro agrees that he knew that this guy was under the age of 18, then you don't have to, like, hammer that in. Like, he agrees to it.
Ignore. However, Pyrocynical in this case actually engages with Ivory in these conversations, doesn't ask for his age, and doesn't even seem the slightest bit concerned or dissuaded from engaging with him. Pyrocynical is further seen referencing Ivory as a child and small boy in DMs, which is additionally concerning with all the past context that I've already highlighted. But by far the largest red flag presented was messages shown of Ivory and Pyrocynical.
Is it not the point for him potentially knowing they're 15? But that wouldn't be a point as to why they would know they were 15. That would be a point knowing that they're under the age of 18, not that they're 15. Like, that falls on its face. That doesn't make sense.
Discussing if they could meet up in the UK and go to a bar. The DMs are seen starting off with Ivory asking if he could come, followed up by him stating that he's considering asking. It is reasonable to insinuate that Pyrocynical would have asked in this instance if Ivory was going to ask his parents for permission, because there is no other applicable context which would have derived Ivory to have stated that he is considering asking.
He's considering asking a friend if they would like to come. He's considering asking, like, it could be a non sequitur. There are instances in which, like, this is, oh my god, Your Honor, fucking, the gavel just went off, okay? Objection, assumptive.
Considering asking who? Ivory is then seen talking about what time it would be best to arrive, as well as the prices of the plane ticket, and is then seen stating right after that he would either need to sneak in or have a fake ID in order to get past the doorman. However, he quote-unquote looks the age regardless. Once again, it is abundantly clear that between the message where Ivory is seen asking what day he should come over, followed by the fake ID comment that he made, that in between these two sentences and messages, Niall would have probably asked.
The reason I'm being so hard on this, I do want to make this very clear. The reason I'm being so fucking hard on this, and I am being very clear with my points here, where I say, this is assumptive, you don't need to say this, you don't need to say this, is because I think Pyro does need to be held accountable for this stuff. I think he does need to be held over the coals for the disgusting behavior that he has done, right? I think we can all agree to that. But you don't give the guy who is a giant weasel and a slime ball, you don't give him opportunities to be able to skirt his way out of accountability. And that is exactly what you're doing when you give these assumptive arguments and stuff like that. That is why this is frustrating to me, and why I even told Parlo last night, I don't think somebody like you, who is extremely irresponsible and is very, like, you know, just like jumps the gun a lot with stuff, I don't know that somebody like you should be covering these allegations. Unless you're going to do it airtight, which right now it's not. Like, you're giving him so much wiggle room. You already have enough. Like, I know this from writing Amos's script, that, you know, that video's out, you know, this coming Friday. Get excited for that. Like, all of that is based on pure facts. There's no speculation, and that's how it should be, because there's already enough to nail this guy to the fucking coffin. The reason that he got away last time with it was because, like, people like this would just assume, and they would jump off with barely anything there and give him the opportunity to have plausible deniability.
A question that prompted Ivory to have then stated, yeah, I don't know except for sneaking in or making a fake ID. He most likely asked Ivory how he'd be able to drink with him at the bar, considering the fact that he was and wouldn't be allowed to drink.
Wasn't part of Pyro's defense. Basically, I only found out they were underage when I learned they were 16, and by that point he was legal in the UK. So I thought, whatever. So if there were indications of underage before Pyro learning they were 16, that would poke a hole in his defense. Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true. I think, to my knowledge, the bar stuff was after he learned the age. Do you know off the top of your head, editor, I keep on forgetting your name. I'm really bad with names, but do you know off the top of your head if the bar stuff was before or after he claimed to have learned the age?
The bar was before he claimed to learn the age. It was
okay.
It was again, like, it was the age stuff. You're talking about when he was talking about
I would need a fake ID and all that stuff.
Yeah,
that was before he claimed to learn.
That was before the Twitter link.
Okay,
that was before the Twitter link when he said he was 16. So yeah, life.
Okay, well,
yeah,
then in that case, okay, if that's the case, that's fair. He needs to be more clear about that point. Okay, because I did not understand that that's the point he was trying to make.
As the legal age for drinking in the UK is 18. Pyrocynical is seen barely referencing this screenshot in his original response video as to not poke holes into his entire defense, other than including a caption above the screenshot stating that it was Ivory discussing using a fake ID to get past doormen outside bars.
The only thing I can possibly think of is inviting him and a bunch of other people to an event in the UK.
And I want you to all explicitly focus on the fact that Niall stated bars in this caption, because in the UK you must be over the age of 18 to enter bars in the evenings for, meaning that if Ivory is explicitly seen telling Niall that he would have needed a fake ID but looked the age regardless, then this is a flat out admission that he was below the age of 18. My document even plays devil's advocate that somehow Niall could have possibly meant nightclubs, in which some nightclubs in the UK only allow people 21 years or over, but I highlight numerous inconsistencies and discrepancies that make that defense not plausible.
He specifically mentioned bars, not nightclubs. Niall said he would be too young to enter the venue, as he would have been 2021. I mean, the other thing is, like, obviously, so the point is to say that he probably knew that Ivory was under 18. That still doesn't mean that he knew he was as young as 15. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little theory crafty with that one. I'll admit that.
Or either. Pyrocynical is seen referencing the screenshot in his response video with the caption that Ivory was 16 at the time of discussing using a fake ID. However, deliberately negates to mention the fact that these messages took place on May the 6th, 2017. And that is very important to highlight because it was a whole 2 months before he claimed to have known that Ivory was 16 on July the 5th, 2017. So in May, Ivory made it abundantly clear that he was. However, Pyrocynical is seen claiming that he only knew Ivory's age and that he was on July the 5th, 2017. Not only is he seen directly contradicting himself, but this is direct, irrefutable evidence that Pyrocynical must have known that Ivory was.
Okay, if the point is to say that he's a liar, get to that point sooner. If that's the whole point of bringing all of this up, than just like fucking get to it sooner, man. Like, again, yapaholic, bro.
Long before July the 5th, 2017. And this ultimately brings up a very important question. At what point was the earliest possible point that Pyrocynical could have known that Ivory was a because clearly he's lying in a drastic attempt to try and cover for his actions here. Past associates of Pyrocynical such as Saku, who featured in old videos of Pyrocynical's before, or even had direct contact with him on Discord, even attested that Pyrocynical knew Ivory's age being 15. This was also strengthened with other testimonies from people who were in the same community as
That's a little bit deceptive to show that screenshot because it literally says right under it that he didn't have any proof to show that. Like, he just claims to have known, right? But let's read this one.
Ivory at the time.
Niall sent me similar furry NSFW. I was 18 at the time, so no issue there. In probably early 2017, me, Ivory, and Niall were all in and out in the same friend group, and it does not shock me that he was in the same content, that the same content was sent to others. It was known to all of us that Ivory was 15. Okay.
Suggesting that Ivory's age was public knowledge and that everyone knew him to be 15. With all these factors collectively considered, the narrative starts to be formed that clearly Niall is not being honest whatsoever in regards to this situation and knowing Ivory's age. Pyrocynical in his response video as well even features Scythe, who is well known for editing for PewDiePie. Now Scythe featured in Pyrocynical's response video to defend him against claims that he had ulterior motives in inviting Ivory to come meet him in the UK and his friends at this event.
To say something was going to happen in a very public event with a load of people, even people Niall didn't even know and wasn't really close with, it's just false. Seriously, there's just no question about that.
What is very meticulously obfuscated, however, is Scythe's questionable behavior around himself. You see, Scythe was very active in the friend circle surrounding Pyrocynical in 2016, being very close to an associate of Pyrocynical's called Solid Shibe. Now, not only did Ivory himself attest that Solid Shibe was 15 in 2016, turning 16, but many other individuals are seen attesting themselves that Solid Shibe was a throughout 2016 and 2017. People had even posted screenshots of his face, and it was extremely discernible that he was clearly in one instance, an ex-associate of Pyrocynical's named Trippy Fox, who also regularly interacted and was mutuals with Scythe Morton too, had told Scythe that Solid Shibe was 15 in direct Twitter replies. The idea that Scythe did not see this reply is completely implausible. This tweet that Trippy Fox had made was on June the 29th, 2016, and that is important to take into account as Scythe was seen throughout the remainder of 2016 and the months following, making crude and jokes directly to Solid Shibe, not only in Twitter replies.
What is this? What is this point? Is this a guilt by association point? Who fucking cares about Scythe? We're talking about Pyrocynical. What is this? What is this point being made for, Mr. Editor?
Just kind of, so like if Scythe was gonna was Scythe gonna be in the event too? Let's see, because
why does that matter?
But you don't know why you put this screenshot in your own editing, or did he tell you to put it there?
Well, I mean, he obviously told him to put the stuff about Shive because I mean, he's having in the script, he's just like going on this weird tangent about Scythe. I'm asking why he's doing this. Like, is this a guilt by association argument? Why is he doing this? This is about Pyrocynical. Who fucking cares?
I wish Parlo was here to discuss this.
Yeah, I don't think he knows.
Okay, you don't know. You don't know. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Okay. So regardless, since Parlo's not here, Parlo like shat the fucking bed. But like, you know, it doesn't change the fact, like, this is completely unnecessary. This is like another example of like, trim the fucking fat. Like, we don't care about Scythe. We're talking about Pyrocynical, okay? It adds nothing. It adds nothing.
But also in direct messages. Scythe Morton is seen in December 2016 making tweets stating, "No baby, you can only me," and referencing Solid Shibe's name stating, "Thomas, if I you no homo," followed by comments establishing that Solid Shibe should have read the fan fiction he had sent him recently, along with other comments of Scythe stating,
"That could be a joke, but I mean, obviously it's bad to make it to a fucking 15-year-old. Who cares? It's Scythe. Who cares?"
He questions his every time he speaks with SolidShibe. Matters get even more concerning when Scythe was seen posting images publicly on his Twitter account of SolidShibe's face edited on a and suggestive image of a girl with exposed with YouTuber Leafeus here resting on them. All these instances transpired in December 2016, months after Trippy Fox had directly told him that SolidShibe was 15. Even in the astronomically small chance that Scythe did not see this direct reply from Trippy Fox on Twitter clearly telling him SolidShibe's age, the idea that SolidShibe's age was not public information or that it was hard for him to discern that he was clearly based on what he looks like is completely illogical. At the time of these jokes and images created by Scythe in reference to SolidShibe, Scythe Morton was 21 turning 22. SolidShibe himself had his birthday known to have been July the 11th, and would have most likely been at the time of these messages by Scythe about 16. I'd like to preface the fact that not only is the age gap that morally egregious, but these jokes regardless are indefensible. Ava Chris Tyson was called out nonetheless for making jokes to fans with considerable age gaps being present between them. If Scythe was somehow allowed, however...
It's me. I need to ask a question to Cormix.
What?
So, Hamilton, you remember last night when Parlo brought up the fact that he didn't care about gaining anything from covering Pyro and that he just wanted to spread awareness?
Hold on.
Remember that, right?
Yeah, I remember that. Is this about the video that we're watching right now? Because otherwise, you're gonna have to I'd really prefer that you would ask it like when we do the call-ins.
Yes, because I just think that's something to mention.
Is it about something that we watched right now? We're like something that. Well,
no, it's because about Parlo's editor. Parlo's editor, Cormix, literally said, "Oh, we're doing it to like do limited ads." I thought it was to spread awareness. Doesn't that kind of call into question the motive there?
Yeah, he's talking about what Cormix just said on your stream.
Okay,
that's why.
Okay. I understand now. Yeah.
Do you want to answer that?
I mean, how is Cormax going to be able to answer something for Parlo?
Yes, because like if the video gets limited as like it's gonna harm the video's reach, and when you harm the video's reach, it's not really gonna get so much people. It's like it happened to other people too, and their videos got like.
That's usually for restricted videos. I've never had a video.
Yeah, restricted videos usually have that happen.
And yeah, basically the limited ad suppresses reach, basically.
I don't know.
I think that just means that it makes less money, dude. Like, I don't think that means that it restricts the reach. But
I mean, like,
I don't know about that one.
Actually, it has been proven that limited ads actually suppress views. And Schlut in his, you know, Roblox YouTuber Schlut.
Yes, we know Schlap.
Yeah.
Schlut said in one of his videos that one of his videos was impacted by limited ads, or somewhere else.
Yeah, but were there other restrictions on the video?
Limited ads, and that ended up with the views just basically just plummeting. And he made a community. Yeah, he made actually he made a community post about that. So basically,
were there other restrictions on the video?
Ads, the views just plummeted, but not much people are more aware of the situation.
I'm going to repeat the question one more time. Were there other restrictions on the video or just limited ads on Schlepp's video?
Just I probably think limited ads.
You think?
Okay.
You think?
Okay.
You know how that looks? You think?
Yeah.
Are you out of your mind?
No, that's not great. That's not great.
Okay. I just checked. It's actually just limited ads. That's it.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I don't know about that one because YouTube usually also throttles performance of predator catching videos in general. So I don't really know if I would believe the argument that limited ads would do that.
You also went on to say that you think that it is. So like if you only thought that, why does that have like what? How does that mean?
Yeah,
you know.
I only thought that.
Like why would you even say that if you didn't know for a fact anyways? You just sound like hope.
Yeah, I just wanted to grill you on that because I think that's important because that's going to be something that's going to get brought up a lot.
I'm gonna show you in DMs this right here. Okay,
what is this?
Check your DM. This is This is
I'm reading
my,
it.
this is my rationale.
Did you
This
send
is
it
my
to me?
rationale for why.
No, he just DM'd it to me. You should send it to other
Send
people.
it to me so I can
There's
show it
more
on the
people than
stream,
the call.
dude. No, just send
Yeah,
it to
there's
send it to in the
the
side
call.
chat. Send it in the side chat so I can show it on the stream, or send it to like somewhere in the
Exactly.
server.
Okay. I'm gonna share it to general chat.
Sorry for derailing Himpleton. I just really wanted to bring this up.
That's fine. I like for what I will say is for like other questions like that. Let's save them till the end, okay?
Okay. I think that's a pretty important thing to note going forward.
Again, it makes me wish that fucking Parlo was here, because like he would be a better person to respond to this than obviously his editor, right?
And also this one too. This is more of his explanation.
Okay, who did you send that to?
I sent it in general chat again.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, but this is just his word, though. Does he like actually prove this?
That's just what we were going by.
Yeah, yikes. All right, well, I'm gonna go. That's all I really wanted to mention because I want you to get back to the video.
I'm not even gonna show this. It's literally just him saying that like that's the case. Okay, whatever.
And I'm pretty sure there have been predator catch videos that have gone viral that don't get good ads at all, and they still go viral. So I don't know about that one.
That is true. That's true.
But,
I mean,
yeah, I wanted to bring that up really quick. I'm gonna go. You can resume the video. Thank you, Himpleton.
Yep, no problem. I'm not taking Schlepp's word as like a 19-year-old fucking retard, okay? And no evidence, all right? But yeah, I mean, doesn't look great. That's all I'll say.
To have edited a face on a image and be seen making numerous jokes talking about wanting to with a then that would highlight a massive double standard present. It wasn't even as if these images were private knowledge either. These tweets still remain on Scythe's Twitter account to this day. There is zero legitimate defense or excuse for the behavior exhibited by Scythe in this situation.
I don't care.
He was the adult, he was considerably older, and he should have known better. The company, Pyrocynical...
Why is there a section about some other guy in the Pyrocynical video?
...who keeps around him too, clearly starts to paint a certain picture here.
Saying like, oh, it's just edgy jokes, people are blowing this out of proportion.
Oh my god. Wait, did you hear that? He literally just said the company that this guy keeps, like, goes to show. No, that's a guilt by association argument. Dude, you already have enough here. And you're not talking about like the other victims, and you're like not talking about a bunch of other stuff. Why are you making this part of your video? Why?
What a bunch of nonsense. That's a load of hooey. That's dirty barnacles. That's ridiculous. Under no circumstances should an adult be communicating with a in any inappropriate manner whatsoever. Edgy jokes between an adult and they're still gross. That's not like the slam dunk defense that some people seem to think it is.
But anyway, now let's get back to when Pyrocynical attempted to feign a defense that his conversations to Ivory were so far detached from actual once again, because it was so unbelievably stupid that I wish to highlight it once more.
I didn't consider the age gap significant enough because...
What are you doing? You already fucking highlighted it. You already proved it wrong. What are you doing? You're losing so many fucking people when you do stuff like this. Stop yapping, dude. Oh my god. Like, it's so fucking frustrating, bro. Like, it's just like, we get it. You already made it clear. You don't have to fucking say it again. You've already shown us the evidence showing that it's not just, like, it's completely detached from everything else. You already showed the fact that, like, fucking Ivory said that he nutted multiple times, dude. You already showed the fact that, like, apparently Ivory got sent gay porn according to Ivory. Like, what are you doing?
Because what we were talking about and doing was so far removed from actual...
This manipulative belittlement is yet again further proven to be untrue due to the fact that just under 2 months after Ivory mentioned that he would need a fake ID in order to enter an 18+ venue on July the 4th, 2017, Ivory went into explicit detail about his life when he was with another girl, to which Pyrocynical did not shut down. Instead, Ivory is seen stating in response to a deleted message Pyrocynical made in reference to Ivory stating how he was intimidated by the girl during... So Pyrocynical was by definition directly engaging here. Ivory is then seen stating that he hasn't done anything in a year, meaning that he was 15 when it took place, and was then seen asking...
Why are we just now seeing this? Like, yeah, that's a good point. Like, it's just... It's going into you reiterating another point. Like, just show it initially. Show it off the gate.
Pyrocynical if he himself did anything. Pyrocynical is then seen engaging and being complicit in the conversation, having prompted Ivory to respond with, "Yeah, I feel you on that." There is no excuse or defense. It is abundantly clear that Pyrocynical was replying to Ivory during these messages and engaged in the topic of conversation about a life. Ivory is then seen continuing to engage with topics about his fantasies during and how he could to the thought of the scenario that he has just presented. This wasn't roleplay. This was a clear-cut example of Niall and Ivory engaging in discussions to do with their life and in real life preferences. Another instance took place on the 30th of June 2017, only a few days earlier. The message exchange starts off with Ivory making comment about the art that he just received from Pyro, with then Ivory stating that he still loves the image Niall had sent him earlier, going into suggestive detail about the positions of their two characters together. Pyrocynical then suggests something in a removed message of his.
How many times has this same point been made? How many times? Stop.
That prompts Ivory to state that he personally is not into
I think we need to reiterate
judging
10 more
by
times, to
Ivory's
be honest, so we
responses
can get through our
until he
heads.
starts
Yeah,
off his reply.
oh, dude, can you please say this 7 more times so I can really just, like, figure it out, dude? Like, I really need to figure out the fact that he did this,
With
dude.
the word it looks to be direct answers to questions that Pyrocynical is levying towards him and giving him in regards to his specific and fantasies. This such behavior was also exhibited in other allegations against Pyrocynical once again, where I brought up how he was seen apparently engaging with
we know.
when he was 19 in late 2016, where he can be seen directly asking questions to the girl about what her are and her opinions on the content.
Dude, this feels like AI after a certain point. Like, it feels like it's just meandering and just saying the same thing over and over again. Like, how does he expect anybody to get through this? What is this? What are you doing?
That he is providing her while he was an adult. Ivory's responses are even more concerning because in these archived messages,
What? Go ahead.
Do you have 2 monitors on your desktop?
Yes. Why?
Okay, I'm gonna send you some.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Waiting. You said you're sending it in DMs? Okay.
Yeah.
Do I have to be paused for this? What the fuck? Can I? Why are you saying that? Why are you DMing this? Can I say this? Dude, I'm sorry.
No.
Dude, honestly, dude, I'm sorry. I'm gonna say it. I'm sorry. This guy's saying that he cut out repetitive parts, but he insisted he kept somebody, removed it anyways, which is great. Good job on you, editor, but you didn't cut out enough, okay? Because somehow there's still this much of reiterating and stuff like that. With the current amount of proof and evidence that is being shown in this video, there's absolutely no reason that we are an hour in right now. 0. Okay? Why?
We're an hour in?
Yes, we're an hour in.
Fucking God.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is insufferable. I don't understand this.
I've gotten like 3 actual points in the last hour.
Exactly. Like, the fucking, like, just repetition over and over and over and over again is just fucking insane. I just makes me want to fucking kill myself, man.
Ivory is seen directly going over his in real life fantasies, and despite Pyrocynical purging messages, it is still easy to discern that he was engaging in this topic of conversation. The topic of conversation then continues with Pyrocynical and Ivory discussing more about furry content, and Pyrocynical most likely sharing, of course, more material directly to Ivory, with him making a comment about the being present. Ivory is then seen forwarding material to Pyrocynical in response, and then Pyrocynical is seen sending even more. Ivory is seen making yet more comments about the material sent to him by Niall, adding more credibility to the idea that Pyrocynical had consistently sent him inappropriate content after knowing that he was a. Then the situation gets even more degenerative, with what we can assume to be Pyrocynical and Ivory engaging in a roleplay, with Ivory discussing his fantasies of his persona engaging in with Pyrocynical's character.
Cool.
Pyrocynical again did not shut down these comments, nor did he disengage. In fact, he facilitated this topic of conversation by playing straight into a fantasies, not only about Ivory's to do with furry, but also what stimulates him in real life. This dynamic was never just about roleplay, it was far deeper and far more insidious. The instances where Ivory is seen replying with or at the start of the sentences, or the keyword spam, are indications of his direct reply to removed messages sent by Pyrocynical.
It could literally be a reaction to one that was priorly sent, dude. Like, you don't know that. God fucking damn it, dude.
Ivory was then seen continuing to describe in graphic detail about his fantasies of what he wants his persona character to do with Pyrocynicals, mentioning topics to do with the attraction to...
Dude, he explained fart fetish again! What? What? You already said what it is! You already said what it is! Why do we need another time of you saying what fart fetish is, dude? Dude, what the fuck is this?
Hey, I didn't get it the first time. Leave him alone. I didn't understand what he was talking about.
Yeah, when he said it's the sexual attraction to sound and smell of like flatulence, you know, I just like didn't understand what that means. So like when he said it a third time with the same example,
dude, it could have been burps. Dude, it could have been burps. Stop. Just stop fucking bullying him.
It really fucking sinks in this time.
Ivory then ends off the conversation by stating, "Nah, that's fine, man. I was just about to say sleep well, haha." In response to Pyrocynical most likely stating that he was going to bed now. And if you think it couldn't possibly get any worse,
what are you doing? Who cares if he said he was going to bed? What are you even fucking talking about? What?
Very much does. Only one day after the fake ID statement on May the 7th, 2017, he was seen sharing artwork of his character, created when he was 16 years old, or possibly even younger. This is extremely alarming, considering the fact that Pyrocynical was told directly by Ivory himself that he was with the fake ID statement, but Pyrocynical simply just allowed him to post artwork of his persona, created while he was a and he did not request for it once to have been deleted. Ivory was then seen on May the 14th stating to...
You don't know that he didn't request it to be deleted! Dude, who cares? You already showed all this.
Pyrocynical that he is getting out of their two characters that they had discussed before, going into detail about
how long did it take you approximately to put all the like the little click sounds? Because there's like fucking 8.
No, I mean like actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. When he gets back, probably took me like 40 minutes.
Okay. Okay, whatever.
I'm back.
Simpleton, can you see chat?
No, I can't see chat. Chat's broken. Chat, dude,
I'm so sorry, brother.
It's okay. YouTube is just like fuck you, fuck your ability to make money on your biggest stream ever, and fuck chat's ability to like ask questions where is needed, right? Like
I'm gonna join the Discord and ask.
Well, no. We have invites locked because of
VC right fucking now.
Because of the evil group that we've talked about before.
The ones that are destroying your stream.
I mean, potentially, yeah. But yeah, like, dude, fuck! Like, what is this stupid fucking video? This video's killing me, man. Like, dude.
Yeah, I don't get why they hate your stream so much. You're literally shitting on the video.
This video fucking sucks. This video fucking sucks. Like, you know what makes it suck? You have all the ingredients for good video, and yet you have spent... it feels like, Tig9, I'm not exaggerating when I say that it has to have been around 20 minutes at this point of just waffling.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, this is
I mean, the whole video to me has been waffling. I'm not going to lie. Like, I haven't picked up a single good, like, point from this entire video.
I picked up a couple, but it's like...
nothing that was like, good enough for me to be like, understand, because he's fucking repeating it 80 times. I don't care anymore.
Yeah,
I don't want to watch it.
You're actually exactly right. You're making a very good point. Because all he has to do, if he makes the point once, he hammers it in, and it's an impactful point. If he makes the point with the same examples, with the same words, again and again and again and again, it's not like hypnosis. It just has less impact every single time. So by the 5th time of me hearing this, I don't fucking care anymore. I don't even care. This video right here Like, and Parlo, I hope you listen to this part at the very least. This video right here is how Pyrocynical gets away with it. This video.
True.
Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
About it. By Ivory's sentences, starting off with yeah and it is relatively easy to decipher the fact that Pyrocynical was complicit in the facilitation of these messages once again. Pyrocynical is then believed to have posted yet another example of furry content, to which Ivory replies with, ooh, once again describing the image in detail. Ivory then suggests a reference for artwork of their two characters going into detail about the gas, positions, as well as the musk and sweat, presented by Ivory in these fantasies, and in these such message exchanges, Pyrocynical once again did not shut them down. He was completely complicit. On May the 19th, 5 days later, Ivory was even seen highlighting the fact that he was still waiting for art of his and Pyrocynical's character.
Would it be evil if I just make this like 1.5?
No, please do it.
Like, this is insufferable.
All these individual situations paint a comprehensive
this
picture
point-
of how deep this
I mean,
degeneracy went in regards to
you've already
Pyrocynical's
went over like how fucking horrible the video is in terms of like how.
Okay, hold on. Genuinely, let me ask you a question.
No, hold on. We're not getting any new points, buddy. That's the problem. It just keeps on getting worse.
Yeah.
He keeps on waffling. So yeah, I'm gonna keep on going
New
over
points
it.
in this?
Is this
Is there a
it?
single new point?
Is this it? Is this the whole video? Because we have 56
No, I mean,
minutes left.
No, it's gonna go into the French girl situation at the very least.
Well, how long?
There's the bitter. There's the what the very least.
Another 20 minutes of this. How much more we got of this? 20 minutes? 20 more minutes of waffling? 10,000 more years of waffling? Like what?
Does the video get any better? Like, or is it just this forever?
Like, oh my god, I cannot wait for Collins.
I don't think he can answer. I don't think he wants to answer that question for us.
He can't answer that question. I mean, I feel like as editor client privilege, I don't think he can answer that question.
messages with Ivory. Not only did Nile admit himself in his own response video that he continued
Just more
to
proof
engage
that
with
I
Ivory
wish
after
Paula
knowing him
was
to be
here.
6.
What?
Just more proof that I wish Paula was here.
Yeah, me too. Like, he's shitting the bed so fucking hard right now. Oh my god. Yeah, and Amos just said to me in DMs, and he told me to read this out loud. Now you can see why I didn't edit this. Yeah, because it is utter dog shit. Oh my god, this is how Pyro gets away with it. This is how Pyro gets away with it, bro.
In retrospect, I never should have continued the furry stuff with him once I learned of his age.
But by seeing Ivory's responses in DMs, such as him stating, ooh, that infers that he is replying in reference to Pyrocynical.
Ooh implies that Pyro had a third eye growing and that he actually was trying to say that, like, he loves the color red. Okay.
Directly sent him something to warrant that response. Now, another glaring red flag present in this situation was that when Ida, Pyrocynical's girlfriend, was seen victim blaming Ivory in his Twitter DMs shortly after he came out regarding Niall's.
Oh my god, it's a new point. It's a new point, guys.
Oh my goodness.
It only took 30 minutes.
Hasn't happened in
It's a
30
new
minutes.
point. It's a new point.
Dynamic. Not only was she seen defending the age
I wish
gap
I
and
could see how
claiming that
chat
he
was
was
like
not
reacting to
innocent
this
himself,
podcast video.
Me
but she
too,
would-
dude. I miss chat, bro. I need my boys.
Could you start
I need
again?
my boys and girls. No, we're not restarting again because it's just gonna happen again.
So also
I
seen
heard there's a
stating,
new
you're
point."
not 14 and
There's a new
Yeah, there
point,
is.
Svenling. There is, dude. It's
I
so
heard there's a
fucking
new point. I'm
exciting.
giggling.
Point hit the tower.
It's so fucking exciting.
clearly indicating that she knew
The first
this
point
age
of
the
the video
entire
is hitting
time.
the video.
This was also further corroborated in Discord messages provided by Ivory on the 6th of April 2017,
It's the same
showing
point.
that he
I'm
made
going to
his
bed.
age known to
It is the same point. It's literally just that a new guys, dude, it was a sleeper hit. It was a sleeper hit, dude. Like, it's not actually a new point. It's
Video's
just that
not fucking
Ida,
real, dude.
It's literally just that Ida, a new person who is associated with all these people, also knew that Ivory's age was 15. We know. At this point, we know. People have already said it. You've already shown like 3 different fucking Twitter things of him saying that. Why would you not include it in this part? Why would you waffle on for another 20 minutes before showing this? If you're making the point that other people in the group knew his age, who fucking cares to see that 20 minutes later that a new person who was associated with the group also knew his age? Who cares?
This entire video feels like he was scripting it, like, and then willy-nilly he was like, "Oh yeah, this happened, so let me put it at the end of this fucking part." It just feels like he's fucking like reading it as he goes.
Dude, am I right? Am I right that it feels like AI?
It does. It really does.
Like, was this script written with AI? Do you know if he hired somebody to write the script?
Wait, do you have the transcript of it? Because I could run it in an AI checker after the video.
I don't have the transcript because I downloaded
it.
Yeah,
I do.
Oh, you do?
Send me that. Send me that.
Yeah, could you send
Honestly,
it to Take 9?
Maybe. Okay, so like maybe I can actually explain the rationale of this.
Can I have the video script so I can run it through AI checker?
Yeah.
Wait.
Instead of yapping, can I have the video script?
Yeah, hold on. I want to hear. Wait, hold on. Just let me talk. Let me talk real quick. Hold on. I want you to give that explanation, and I want to hear it from you, but I want you to send him that script first. Can you do that?
Yeah, I'm gonna send you that. I'm gonna send this.
Okay, great, great. And then I promise that we'll listen to your explanation. Okay.
Should I screen share?
Yeah, you absolutely should. Well, screen share the results. Take 9. Once you get the results, let me know,
okay.
and I'll look at it.
Okay.
Okay, but so climax, climunk, whatever. What's the explanation?
So I can from his perspective, the longer the better. I do believe that there are a lot of things that repeat.
The longer the better. What?
Well, I mean, he was while we were going over the video, he was talking about how like 1 hour 55 minutes was like, this seems like a Marvel movie, so it was going to be like this really full exposed video that would like totally hold him accountable. But now I fully understand why this video is, kind of really messy, because it's not really concise, and I fully 100% agree with you when it comes to the overall inconciseness of the video, basically.
Well, and here's my thing. If it was 2 hours of each fucking minute he's giving a new point and he's showing new evidence and stuff like that, then yeah, I would agree with you. Like, the video needs to be as long as it needs to be if you're like showing new points and all that kind of stuff. Okay, let's see. Hold on. Let me make sure that I share it on OBS as well. Hold on.
It says it's likely AI. It's not giving me the actual percent because I have to pay to unlock it.
Oh, fuck that, dude. God damn it.
I could try a different one.
Yeah, why don't you try a different one?
I'll try a different one.
Okay, yeah, try a different one. All right. And we'll keep on watching in the meantime. But yeah, like I said, like if he was getting new points the whole time and like, bringing new evidence, like he very easily, there's no reason this needs to be a series of videos. Like the fact that there were supposed to be at least 2, maybe 3 of these is absolutely diabolical, dude. Diabolical. Okay, I already have seen just through this watch through around 20 minutes that this guy could have cut, right? Like it again, if it was one of those things where the entire time it's boom, 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 point, evidence, new, then yeah, for sure. And even in that case, like when he was just showing like the chat logs, he doesn't have to show every single fucking time that Ivory engaged or Pyro engaged or what the fuck ever. We get it after. If you show a new pattern, if you show new evidence in this pattern, if you show a new victim, if you show all of that kind of stuff, that justifies a longer length. This does not. This literally feels like he is pulling at fucking straws. And I know for a fact that nobody is pulling at straws. Nobody is like trying to, pull stuff out of thin air. But when you make a video like this and you make it this waffly, it makes it seem like that when there's already enough there to show that Pyro, has done some really fucked up shit. And that's how it should be. Like, that's why, like, with this ammo stuff, we're trying to keep it under an hour. We're trying to keep it under an hour, and the entire time we're talking about new stuff. We're trying not to repeat ourselves because we understand the audience. Longer is not better. Longer is only better if it needs to be. Otherwise, you need to keep these people's attention, and that's just not what's happening here. So
I fully agree, Langer.
The second video was supposed to be about his audience. The third one was supposed to be about the new victims. And I think he said that the second one wouldn't be until December. Bro! What the fuck?
Ida being 15 and expressing his concerns on if Naya would eventually change his mind and cut him off after regretting.
All right, I ran it through multiple AI checkers. One of them said it might be AI, and the rest of them have said it's not. It's 0% AI.
Okay, so
we're good on AI.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. It probably would have been better for Parlo if this was AI, because that just shows that this is like some of the most dog shit, like terrible writing I have ever seen. Like, I kind of wish this was AI for its own sake. This is terrible.
These messages that Ivory was admitting to withholding his age
Yeah,
from
the
Pyrocynical.
amount
Proof
of
has been
effort
provided in a document.
this, yeah.
Wait.
And that-
Hold on.
The amount of like the amount of effort, and it just comes to a waste after realizing that's like really, really inconcise. Yeah, definitely feeling you on that.
Hold on.
Messaging him because of his age later on down the line. There was no inclination via these messages that Ivory was admitting to withholding his age from Pyrocynical. Proof has been provided in a document comprehensively proving that this account that Ivory messaged as well was in fact Ida. Ida's lack of interjection in these messages, both on Discord and in Twitter DMs, about Niall never knowing Ivory's age also serves to corroborate the narrative further. Now, Pyrocynical's main excuse was that he was never close to Ida in 2017, and they only dated in 2019, 2 years later, so Ida had no real incentive as to discuss Ivory's age to him.
If you look at the DMs Ivory provided himself for this document, you can see that he's confiding with Ida about age being a problem. Keep in mind as well, I was not in a relationship with Ida until about mid-2019. This document claims it as soon to be, but like, it's a whole 2 years before we actually start dating, and 2 whole years before this conversation took place. I mean, we both talked before, but we weren't close. She had no reason to confide with me with someone else's private information. So back when Ivory opened up to Ida about something private, there is no guarantee that she would have came and told me, despite the fact that this document and videos based off this document claim it as concrete, irrefutable proof.
Unless there's evidence
That should have been 30 minutes ago. Why are we hearing this now?
that Pyro and Ida were a lot closer than he makes out in his video or whatever, that's a reasonable response to me.
And yet again, despite on the outside looking like a good rebuttal, this is another example of Pyrocynical lying and downplaying the situation. His defense that he was not close to Ida is immediately discredited by the fact that Ida herself is seen stating to Ivory on the 6th of April 2017 that she called with Pyrocynical every other day. Furthermore, the document I have made comprehensively shows in full the dynamic Ivory, Ida, and Pyrocynical had. Ivory is seen telling Pyrocynical in DMs about the art Ida had created for him, or even that they were in calls together. And keep in mind, Isa was another alias that Ida went by. Ivory was also seen talking to Pyrocynical on the 7th of April 2017 while he was still 15 about Niall getting a hotel, to which Pyrocynical was seen asking if Ida had told him that, to which Ivory states yeah, proving that Pyrocynical spoke to and had direct contact with Ida in private at the time and entrusted her with important information, and Ida spoke to Ivory about the information as well. There was a dynamic present between the three of them here. Ida was also seen on April the 23rd having made a live stream featuring both Pyrocynical and Ivory, and by analysing archived tweets made by Pyrocynical from 2016, he regularly interacted with Ida on Twitter, retweeting a lot of her art, and even pushing her to create thick content on May the 3rd, 2016, while she was 16 at the time, which is very important to address.
What?
Now, not only have we comprehensively proven that Ivory, Ida, and Pyrocynical were significantly more close to each other than Niall claimed in his response video, with even Ivory asking Pyrocynical if he'd want to join a call with both him and Ida in a private server on November the 23rd, 2017, but now allow me to draw your attention to these Discord messages sent by Ivory on the 2nd of September 2017. Now, Ivory is seen having messaged Pyrocynical stating that Ida had uploaded thick art of his character on a popular furry website. Ivory is then seen stating, I think it should be fine, followed up by him stating, oop, that's no bueno, followed by him posting a link to the artwork. What I really want you all to focus on is Ivory's messages where he's seen stating to Pyrocynical to just ask Ida to take the images down, and with Ivory stating, well, people make a lot of fan art, eh? I just say that if anyone brings it up. And this is pivotal to highlight, because judging by the nature of these conversations, it is clear that he had a problem with Ida making these images public. This had prompted Ivory to tell Pyrocynical to lie, and for him just to claim that it was fan art if it was ever brought up.
Fucking, like, ugh. Speculation, Your Honor. Speculative.
This therefore means that these images were commissioned, or at bare minimum, specifically requested by Pyrocynical for Ida to have drawn.
Not true. He could have just not liked it. He literally could have just not liked it. Speculative, Your Honor.
Pyrocynical evidently did not want these images to be public knowledge, and one could brush it off that he didn't want people to know about his. But the problem goes so much deeper than that. When analysing when these images were uploaded to, we were able to decipher that the art posted was the art that Ivory linked to Pyrocynical due to comparing the descriptions of the images that identically match. The same account that posted this image too had posted 2 other images that were uploaded on the exact same day, with all the images having the artist tag of Secret Corgi, aka Ida, meaning it was made all by her. We were able to decipher that the account that uploaded these 3 images was Ida too, as Ivory states this himself to Pyrocynical. Now it's very important to highlight that these images were uploaded on the 2nd of July 2017, meaning that Ida was 17 at the time of her uploading these suggestive furry art pieces, as Ida was born on March the 19th, 2000, meaning that the age gap between both Ida and Pyrocynical was 2 years, 10 months. It's not. But it's important to highlight this situation because it shows a concerning pattern of behavior here. Now, these 3 images, when reverse searched, can be found having originally been uploaded to the rule.
We're calling a 2-year age gap evidence of concerning behavior. A 2-year age gap? Am I in hell? Take 9, am I in hell?
Quite close to it, I would say.
Okay. Just wondering, because, like, you know, my chat's dead. Like, you know, YouTube destroyed and killed my chat. They destroyed everything, and like
your
I'm
highest
just, like,
view count in the chat's just stagnant.
Exactly, and I'm just stuck in this horrible video. Like, I feel like I am in hell.
website
You
on the
are.
12th of August
It's okay,
2016, meaning that they were originally created by Ida when she was 16 years old and were possibly created long before they were uploaded to this website as well, and the tags specifically state that the artwork was of Pyrocynical's character. This matches with Pyrocynical's tweets he made during May 2016, a couple of months earlier, where he was seen consistently retweeting artwork Ida had created for him, to which he is seen complimenting her artwork and is then seen requesting her to make thick, furry content. We are able to decipher this because only a few months later, following Pyrocynical's tweet on May the 3rd, 2016, tweeting the word thick to Ida, her artwork is magically seen being uploaded to websites depicting furry content, with Ivory telling Pyrocynical to lie, just claiming it was fan art, to try and give Pyrocynical a plausible deniability option, so he could feign ignorance over the creation of these images, which he most likely requested from someone who was a at the time, and started off being a fan of his content originally. On the 21st of September 2017, Ivory is even seen sharing information to Pyrocynical that Ida was creating content on Cool, which he was able to see and access. Keep in mind, Ivory was 16 at the time, Ida was 17, and Pyrocynical was 20. And by judging the artwork shown, it matches verbatim with the aforementioned furry images, which were originally uploaded to adding more credibility to the narrative that Ida made these images. I find it also important to
We know that she made the images, man.
highlight that on December the 15th, 2018, Pyrocynical had once again gone to Ivory asking for advice on how to use the plausible deniability card in reference to public images of his character, and Ivory is once again seen telling him just to claim it to be fan art so it doesn't directly implicate him, which is directly seen during the Ida situation too, as we've mentioned before. The pattern of Pyrocynical inappropriately engaging with fans of his, many of whom were and made fan art for him in which he liked, with him then requesting them to create art for him while he was an adult, is a common occurrence which has been touched upon in my document. I'm sure there are many more individuals who Pyrocynical has done this to as well, other than his eventual girlfriends, and it is extremely confusing how people can sit back and defend this repeated pattern of pushing his onto and then have them conform to creating suggestive content for him. He abuses his platform as a content creator and got to inappropriately engage with his and fantasies. In the case of Ida, the age gap was not inherently, but for many other alleged, that same defense cannot be said.
Okay, show fucking proof of it then. Show proof of it then. Show proof of it then. And tell us about it. Tell us about it. Stop referencing it. Stop blueballing us and then just saying the same 10 points over and over again, Parlo. Please, for the love of Jesus motherfucking Christ. This is literally like when I spent an hour asking Parlo about his pee-pee fetish, okay? What the fuck?
Several of our conversations were leaked online by Ivory. Here's one of the more damning ones.
I'd love for my soul to be at his fat, sweated, while rubbing his back from behind, and then just having him all over my Sona's face. That would be so nice.
Yeah, you know, you could actually make a point here and say that Colossal is Crazy, another giant YouTuber, is narrating these allegations in a very silly and funny way, as if to downplay them, right? And that isn't on Colossal, it's just to say that, like, these other huge YouTubers were on Pyro's side. So from the very beginning, Ivory was fighting a losing battle, right? And so if I don't hear that point being made, I'm going to take a firearm and never mind.
Or if mine was just underneath him, getting underneath his huge, and your Sona could be non-stop, as if mine like...
Pyrocynical's inclusion of a segment in his video where his friend, Colossal is Crazy, proceeds to read one of these charged messages sent by Ivory in an over-the-top comedic voice is deliberately done to play down the severity of the situation and to try and trivialize the dynamic to make it seem as just one large joke. His viewers then proceeded to see the instances such as this.
Good boy, Parlo. But what I still didn't hear you say is the fact that, like, other big creators were on this guy's side. Like, I mean, come on. These are just such easy points to make, man.
Find humor in it, essentially taking the fangs out of these allegations. His fanbase will now see less of a problem with how and fundamentally disgusting this actually is, and simply just deduce it as some furry roleplay. Instead of Pyrocynical having been an adult and messaging a fan of his by engaging with their fantasies, roleplaying with them, sending them and engaging in topics to do with their life. No other YouTuber has managed to get away as unscathed as Pyrocynical has for engaging with a fan of theirs significantly younger than themselves. And this situation has been degraded to the idea that Pyrocynical admitted his in front of everyone to debunk allegations of him being a when he hasn't actually debunked anything or any critical points whatsoever. He's only lied and tried to take the plausible deniability route. Pyrocynical took advantage of the circumstantial evidence provided by Turkey Tom's document and feigned the plausible deniability excuse. He attempts to use wordplay manipulation, affirming that no were ever sent and that he had no real interest in Ivory, as if that fundamentally changes anything at all or makes him innocent.
This document makes, like, insane assumptions based on limited and broken evidence. It's not hard to dismantle it, it's just annoying that I have to be the one to do it.
Pyrocynical made it known in his response video that he was annoyed that he had to address
It's annoying that I have to be the one to do it. It's crazy.
Yeah, that is insane. I can't lie.
That's such a crazy thing to say. Why would you ever say that? What do I have
saying
to
that I
be
have
the
to
one to do
disprove
it,
these real allegations against me, possibly.
Are you saying that in, like, in terms of Pyrocynical's part?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
Pyro's
Pyrocynical is
part.
insane for saying that.
That is fucking ridiculous. Yeah, it's fucking crazy that I have to, like, show people that I'm not a groomer. Oh my god.
Well, admitting that he was, like, actually insane. Like, come on.
That's so insane.
The situation head on himself, inferring that he would have preferred his own fanbase to do the defending on his own behalf. This rubbed me the wrong way because it is your own responsibility as a content creator to address your own allegations head on yourself, and to not hide behind your fanbase in hopes that they will harass into silence or proliferate misinformation unchallenged to try and muddy the waters of the situation. And the evidence is all out there of Pyrocynical's fanbase comprehensively brushing off stories, claiming them to be fake or lying about them having clout incentives or ulterior motives, and it all directly falls into Pyrocynical's benefit.
Ivory himself even struggles to explain how what I did was.
How are you? Because you don't need to be for this to be wrong. Is it really fair that you use the word? And if that's true, if you feel that's true, where was this going?
This is exactly why with the Amos script, we were not going to assert that he is a groomer. Okay, because, you know, the label game is a very dangerous thing and it's not something that you should do. So when Parlo last night said that he is 100% sure and that it is an open fact that Pyrocynical is a pedophile, not just a groomer, a pedophile. Again, my reaction remains the same of why the fuck is this the guy talking about this? He is clearly in the fucking loony bin when it comes to this stuff.
See, I'm not like. If you really want to be safe, you could just call him like a creep and a weirdo or something. Like, it's really, you don't have to label him as a pedophile in your video unless you have solid proof that he's a pedophile.
Well, and what we're doing in our video, or in Amos's video that I wrote, like, we are just not using any labels, but we're characterizing his actions. We're characterizing his actions as gross, irresponsible, disgusting, stuff like that. You don't have to make any
their
label.
Own opinion on it.
Exactly. People come to their own conclusions. You don't treat the audience like they're fucking retards. That's the worst thing you could do.
Typed it out, and I typed like, I remember I typed that and asked like,
has Pyrocynical ever been investigated or anything, or do people just make videos and not even call the cops?
I think people make videos and call it out.
They did call the cops or didn't? Because I don't even know if he's been investigated at all.
Well, from my perspective, I haven't seen any instance where he has been investigated for this shit.
Well, I mean, that should like be one of the first steps, in my opinion, for the people who made the videos to begin with. I mean, I feel like if Parlo actually wanted this guy to get in trouble, he would have reported them to the police, maybe. But I mean, it's past statute of limitation, I'm assuming now, but still.
Also, just a quick point that I want to address because people will continue to ask me it until I fucking like just put my foot down here.
Take 9, check the
You people, hey Aiden, hey Morale, hey everybody else who wants this video, you're not fucking getting it until Parlo gives me permission to send it to other people. Okay? Otherwise, you're not receiving it. Sorry, I'm not. I only am doing this because I got permission to do so. Okay? So if I don't get permission to send it to you, you're not getting it. Get cucked, get fucked. I don't care.
Yeah, the definition of the word?
I feel like it was like forcing or like manipulating it into a like situation.
Okay.
This specific segment of Tommy C's interview with Ivory, where he was evidently stressed and had later described himself to be shaking during the instance where he had to record the disgusting situation on a video which was going to be viewed by tens of thousands of people, which ultimately clouded his judgment and line of thinking, as well as Pyrocynical utilizing weaknesses in Turkey Tom's original document, gave him a clear path to push the narrative to his viewer base that the allegations were categorically false. When if you actually look deeper in the chat logs and the proof provided, you can start to clearly see and decipher how egregious it actually really was. And Pyrocynical's utilization of inconsistencies to wiggle his way out of situations is best seen with the 14-year-old French girl allegations. Now, moving away from the situation.
Holy shit, are we actually talking about this now? Oh my god.
Pertaining to Ida and Ivory, I wish to highlight one of the largest lies surrounding Pyrocynical that has lasted for almost 8 years, and that is the French girl situation. Despite a video being released by Toastify or Keemstar's interview with the girl herself, still to this day, people believe that the French girl situation was a lie meticulously created by Keemstar so he could just spite Pyrocynical. However, the slim minority who come to the understanding that she did exist will also use and utilize insane mental gymnastics to either claim that they were not in a proper relationship, try to claim that the dynamic was not inappropriate, or will attempt to justify the age gap, or use the ancient reality situation to deflect away from what Pyrocynical did himself. Now, the French girl, also known as Luan, currently goes by the tag Ectofrog on Twitter, and she is open about the situation, confirming to users in 2021 that she had dated Pyrocynical in 2015 when she would have been and Pyrocynical would have been 18. Now, the exact time period that they dated is unclear, but by examining old tweets made at the time, Pyrocynical was seen having interacted with Lou actively throughout January 2016. This was then followed by users at the time referencing Luan as Pyrocynical's ex-girlfriend as early as February the 29th, 2016. By looking at tweets made by Dolan Dark and Maximofo2, both content creators who were close with and associated with Pyrocynical even still to this day, you can clearly see that both of them engaged with Luan in late 2015 throughout October. Now, Luan is 23 turning 24 this year, and is open about her date of birth being July the 14th, meaning that the age gap.
Alright, we're actually gonna fucking, we're gonna lock in. We're gonna do one-time speed because this is actually new information.
between her and Pyrocynical would have been 4 years 2 months, and as you can see, Luann under her Twitter account Ectofrog is seen making a reply under both Anything for Views and 8-Bit Ryan's old tweets, to which they're both seen referencing Luann's old account named Dumoria67, and she openly admits that she ran this account too, proving it to be her. Now, Luann's age was public knowledge under her Demoria67 alias, with someone in early 2015 mentioning that she was 13 years of age, and then after her birthday, many individuals and even her mutuals are seen referencing her age as 14, meaning that her age was public knowledge. The idea that Luann did not make her date of birth known either is factually untrue, as by looking at archives of her Twitter account, you can clearly see she had it present in her bio, and she would make tweets referencing her birthday to which her mutuals
That's just making your birthday known. And you can still say that it was public knowledge, but it's stupid to try to make a claim that she made her own, like, fucking, like, age public when it was other people making it public. Like, that's just such a stupid point. You can just literally just say that it was public knowledge. Just say that.
Seen replying to, even including the popular Five Nights at Freddy's YouTuber named Dorko. At the time, a popular montage parody YouTuber named MLG Vagabonds was even seen messaging his ex-girlfriend who he engaged with when she was allegedly and he was 19, mentioning how, quote-unquote, a lot of people know about us, and Pyrocynical did the same thing I did with you, except she was 14. So this therefore adds more credibility to the point that Luann was publicly known by many individuals at the time to have been 14 in 2015 and early 2016. Now, Vagabonds was one of 3 members who were a part of a Skype group chat where they were compiling evidence against Pyrocynical, and this is due to the fact that a friend of Luann's had logged into her account and supplied them
Hold on.
Bonds was one of 3 members who were a part of a Skype group chat where they were compiling evidence against Pyrocynical, and this is due to the fact that a friend of Luann's had logged.
I don't know what imply means, lol, because we already saw that first screenshot. We read it towards the beginning. I'm not saying Mick shouldn't trust you. I'm just saying, what if what you done to me, like telling Nopify and Cobalt I left you for fame? I don't like how you used me to get infos for Nopify. That seems to be a running theme here, which isn't true. Nah, I mean, you left to keep your channel safe. You didn't want to be seen as a pedo. Not because you have 600k subs, lol, keep. Oh, you left to keep your channel. And I understand you wouldn't like to be seen that way. Ah ha 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 ha. No one would want to. And don't worry, I regret what I did.
Into her account and supplied them Twitter messages.
I just can't go back, but trust me, I wish I could have. Okay, you have no proof I left you for fame. What are you on about? What? You literally message me nearly daily now talking about how I left you for subs, like the most generic argument ever with no points. The fuck? Didn't you read? Everyone pulls the you left me for fame talk. I didn't leave you because I didn't want to be seen as a pedo. I don't say for fame, you just didn't want to be forcefully seen as a pedo.
Messages proving that they were in fact in a relationship.
Now, no. Fuck.
Piling evidence against Pyrocynical, and this is due to the fact that a friend of Luann's had logged into her account and supplied them Twitter messages proving that they were
cool when you want. Why would he have a problem with you? Oh yeah, because sometimes when we fight, it's not cool. Lol. Otherwise, you're a cool person. Alright, blank. We're honestly just going in circles, and I didn't leave you for YouTube fame or whatever argument like that. And let's be fair, we were only talking for like 2 weeks, so it wasn't like a lifetime relationship anyways. I think a lot of things have been taken out of context, and it's probably best we don't speak again because we just end up arguing over different opinions. Lol, okay, see ya, if you wanna have fun. What? Okay.
In fact, in a relationship. Now, the members of the Skype chat decided to forward this information to Keemstar, with Keemstar reaching out to Pyrocynical on
I've been contacted with info you are dating a 15-year-old French girl. Well, they had broken up at that point. God damn it, Keem.
March the 22nd, 2016, stating that he was just contacted with information.
Yeah, it was a week ago. It ended a week ago.
That he was dating an alleged girl, to which Pyrocynical completely denied, according to Keemstar himself, and the situation would go relatively silent. Now, the French girl situation originally took off after April 9th, 2016, when Pyrocynical had made a video criticizing Keemstar for his video covering the Tabasco allegations, stating that he should have made a clearer disclaimer to his fanbase to not take the allegations at face value due to the monolithic amount of hate that ended up transpiring on Tobuscus' YouTube channel shortly after Keemstar's video dropped on Drama Alert. Now, in response, Keemstar is seen responding aggressively to Pyrocynical, making a barrage of Twitter videos bashing Pyro, and famously threatening to release the files on top of files he had against Niall in regards to the information he received about him dating an girl.
If you're gonna swing at me, dude. Let me know, because I got files on top of files to swing back at.
In response, Pyrocynical then seized on the opportunity to make a video titled My Experience with Keemstar, posted on June 9th, 2016, where he proceeded to lie to his audience and
Holy fuck.
Why does he title that as if he got raped by Keemstar? My experience with Keemstar.
That is an insane amount of views. Holy
yeah, dude, Pyro was a very popular YouTuber.
Why was it this easy to get views back then, bro? This video looks like shit.
I know, it looks terrible.
and claimed that the situation was fabricated and complete bullshit.
And if that wasn't bad enough, Keem is now trying to spread even more, saying that I'm dating girls and saying outright on stream that I'm a.
Pyro was trying to hook up with a 13-year-old girl from France. Alright? That he was technically like a or a weirdo or something, right?
This story is total. I know exactly the 3 individuals who told Keem and even got in a Skype group chat with him.
Now, what is more important to highlight was the fact that Pyrocynical took advantage of the fact that Keemstar was seen as an unreliable narrator at the time, and homed in on Keemstar being inconsistent with the age of the girl, to then try and manipulate his audience and
So this point right here is exactly why everything needs to be airtight, because this guy's so good at finding like what is wrong or what is inconsistent with the statement and harping on it. So you cannot have these fuck ups that Parlo has. You cannot. Like, he should know this just by covering the Keemstar stuff.
This video is so dog shit. I don't think fucking Pyro even needs to reply if this video gets dropped. Like, this video is so horrible.
This is terrible.
Like, he can ignore this and nothing will happen.
Yeah, true.
That she did not exist. Pyrocynical did this meticulously and was able to paint the story as untrue to over 6 million people by focusing on Keemstar's discrepancy of her age.
14-year-old French girl and
Now, if any of you didn't notice that, he just deliberately lowered the age. Now, originally, this alleged girl was 15, and now Keemstar has lowered the age to 14, probably to make it sound even more impacting and incriminating.
Oh no, 14 and 15,
Later on
Prince.
stream, he lowered the age again to say the girl was now 13.
Dude, I didn't even realize how like
basically
well Pyro like used all of Keemstar's slip-ups to make his video like seem more real.
No,
This
yeah,
is, like Parlo's just fucking this.
It's extremely well known. Like, I mean, like, I'm not saying like you should have known, but like that. So that's exactly why I've been like iterating that point so hard that it needs to be super airtight, because like he did this with the French girl situation and he did this with the Ivory situation, where he would harp on people either spreading misinformation or Keem like making mistakes with the ages. Because I mean, Keem's an irresponsible piece of shit, like retard. You know, I mean, it's just
riveting.
Pyro's very, very fucking good at this stuff. Like, he's going to find the problems, and if it's not airtight, he is going to poke holes.
It was a
Pyro was trying to hook up with a 13-year-old girl from France.
Go ahead.
I have some about specifically this. I'm gonna save it for after the video ends. I'm gonna speak about that.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, that he was technically like a or weirdo or something, right?
So this man has lied about the age of this girl on 2 separate occasions, and knowing Keemstar, this girl will probably be an embryo by next week.
This was extremely malicious on Pyrocynical's part, and still to this day, people are under the belief that the girl never existed and—
Dude, what is this fucking music? Like, why are we playing, like, inspirational, like, fucking, this is awesome! Like, why are we playing, like, happy, like, inspirational music talking about, like, he got away with the like, you know, like the claims. He got away with it. That's awesome. Wow.
It was just one big malicious lie
That
created
one
by
was clearly my fucking fault.
That's okay.
Keemstar, who was attempting to get back at Pyrocynical in the most vindictive way possible. However, she did exist, and Keemstar 2 days later made a tweet showing Twitter messages between both Pyrocynical and Luan from March the 10th, 2016. In these messages, Pyrocynical is seen confirming that they did in fact have a relationship, and he is seen stating himself that he'd be happy to wait for her to hit 16 before engaging in a proper relationship with her,
That's-
which is a glaring red flag.
That's bad.
Pyrocynical was then seen on Twitter replying to Keemstar, stating that he sees no problem in waiting for her to have reached the age.
Okay, so again,
He
and we're about to
replied?
see- yeah, he did reply. So we're about to see the major problem with this. So as you see, he replied and said, "I see no problem with waiting for somebody to reach the age of consent." But if we read this message, like I said, I was happy to wait for you to hit 16. You didn't, though. Pyro.
Are they saying that as if he didn't has he stopped talking to them, or he didn't talk to them, or is that as if he did something with them? Is that
He did,
which
he did something
could
with
go
them.
both
He
ways?
did
Okay.
something with them because, as you see by this next message, I ended the relationship so they wouldn't attack you or me anymore.
Holy! How did he get away with this? Genuinely, how did he get away with
Because
this?
of retards coverage. Because of people like Parlo. That's how. People like Parlo.
This guy's made
covering this
millions of dollars since this because of their coverage.
Especially Keemstar. Well, especially Keemstar because this video hasn't even came
shit. Yeah,
out.
I mean, Keemstar's kind of like Parlo.
This video is fucking.
I would directly compare Keemstar to Parlo in this situation.
Well, thankfully, this video isn't released yet, so it can still be fixed.
True.
Hopefully.
It can be fixed. It can be, and it should be, and I swear to God, if it isn't, I'm going to be very sad. Okay? Hold on.
In a proper relationship
Honestly,
with her, which is a glaring
I
red
really,
flag.
I really, considering our situation, I really don't think that I really want to release a video at all.
Oh God!
Yeah, I mean, this video isn't great.
Like, I really don't. I really don't care if. I really don't care if I spent like months editing this video anymore.
I do appreciate that you're willing to admit that, though. Honestly, like I do appreciate that you're willing to admit that.
That's just like, dude. Oh,
That's really bad for Parlo, but I do appreciate that you spent that much time on it and admitted that it's not that great.
No, genuinely good for you. You don't seem like a bad guy. You really don't. Like, I know that I've been hard on you and everything, but you have to understand part of that's the content, and part of that is just like, I have a very like boisterous personality, so I'm gonna be like pretty hard. And especially, I'm gonna be pretty hard. Somebody's gonna clip that, but
well, I'm just honest. That's pretty justified. That's pretty justified, and
Right.
I do see the rationale behind everything you're saying. So,
yeah, no. Listen, you've been a very good. You've been a very, very good sport about all of this, and like, it's proof that you're a stand-up guy that you can admit like what you just said. And I appreciate you for that, really. It's just, I mean, it's very unfortunate for Parlo. Parlo, you gotta find a new editor, buddy.
Pyrocynical was then seen on Twitter replying to Keemstar, stating that he sees no problem in waiting for her to have reached the age of consent, therefore indirectly admitting the images were real and not explicitly denying them. He was then seen
Okay, great point from Parlo for once in his fucking life. True.
deflecting the situation, claiming that Keemstar still lied about her age on 2 separate occasions. Pyrocynical, therefore, by definition, admitted on his own volition that he had the intent to wait for an girl to reach the legal age of consent before having a relationship with.
Well, that's not even the worst part. The worst part is the fact that he already did have a relationship with the French girl. Like, as he admits in those messages, and by saying that they were real, admits to having this relationship with her before she had even reached the age of 16.
That is inherently, especially when considering the already drastic age gap dynamic between them and the maturity difference in play, but we will touch more on that later. Now, Pyrocynical was seen making a damage control statement on his Reddit to try and get ahead of the situation. Video proof is also provided proving the legitimacy of the post and how Pyrocynical's actual Reddit account was seen having made the statement.
I honestly
now,
thought this part was
Pyrocynical
not
uploaded
really
this.
necessary, but I did it anyway. Whatever.
Wait, say that one more time.
So I feel like I'm in the position to be really honest about certain things here. So I genuinely thought that this part was not necessary because I could already check it for myself, but it's whatever.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, I think that holes could definitely be poked into his Reddit response. I mean, I think that would be valid, but unless that happens, merely mentioning it I don't know.
Statement to his subreddit so it would not reach the greater community where it would be inevitably picked apart. He uploaded it to his subreddit because he knew it contained his most ardent supporters and they would defend him regardless, as the Reddit served as an echo chamber for him. In his Reddit post, Pyrocynical admits the Twitter messages were real, by mentioning himself that Keemstar released Twitter messages between him and this girl. Keep in mind, he did not deny the veracity or authenticity of the messages whatsoever. However, Pyrocynical was seen stating he did not date the girl under any circumstances and claimed that she was years old at the time, while he himself would have been 18. Both of these claims made by Pyrocynical are complete lies, but let's tackle the first claim. Pyrocynical states that he did not date the girl whatsoever, and he only used the term relationship once in messages with her in reference to being supportive of her during tough times, and this is complete bullshit. Now, by observing the messages between Pyrocynical and Luan, it shows Pyrocynical having admitted himself verbatim that he quote-unquote ended the relationship with them. He is then seen following up by affirming that the reason for him leaving the relationship wasn't because he was scared about being seen as a...
Okay.
To which Luan replies with the fact that it was, following up by stating that he did leave the relationship to keep his channel safe because in actuality he didn't wish to be seen as a... Judging by what Lou says herself in these messages, it is clear that Pyrocynical was scared about the repercussions he would receive for engaging in a relationship with such a large age gap and power dynamic, and knew that it was inherently attempting to cut the relationship off to save himself without taking any accountability for it whatsoever. In another message yet again, Pyrocynical is seen stating that they only messaged for 2 weeks, so it wasn't a lifetime relationship anyways. This once again completely contradicts Pyrocynical's entire narrative where he claimed he only used the term relationship once.
Okay, Parlo, you don't have to pick apart every single fucking thing that the guy's saying. It was obvious that it was a relationship. You can just say that instead of being like, he said it 2 times instead of 1. Wow! Dude.
Because here he is seen once again admitting directly to Luan in DMs that they had dated and were in a relationship for a period of 2 weeks. Now, in 2020, Keemstar had conducted an interview with the French girl being Luan shortly after the situation between Pyrocynical and Ivory had died down. In this interview, Luan combats many of Pyrocynical's lies he made in his initial Reddit statement, and she starts off by highlighting that Pyrocynical and her met up in 2015 and had originally got in contact with one another when Pyrocynical had followed her after she created fan art for him, because according to Luan, Pyrocynical was her favorite YouTuber currently.
You cannot say met up if they did not meet up in person. You cannot fucking say met up. Or,
I thought he was meaning like in real life. For a second.
Like what was he trying to say there? Did they meet in real life? Because if not, that is such a profound error. Like, you cannot say that.
Like, are you talking about a text or like what he said?
Like what he just said, where he said that they met up in 2015.
Oh, in that case, no, yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, I just, like, if they didn't actually meet in person, which I'm almost positive that they did not, that is a terrible, terrible thing to say. You cannot say it like that. That's insane. This is exactly how Pyrocynical gets away with it. Say it with me, chat. Pyrocynical gets away with it.
Only at the time.
So I met Pyro back in 2015 when I was 14 years old and he was 18 years old. For him and his group of friends, so all these YouTubers in the community he was in, I drew him a lot because, well, he was my favorite of them all. To show me his support, he followed me, and so later on I thanked him and talked to him in DMs, and that's how we became friends.
So you guys, became friends. You were making art for him. Were you making, like, I think you told me off air that you were making like his avatars and...
Yeah, the Fox one.
Yeah.
His avatar. Yep.
And notice what Luan had said too. She states herself that she was while Pyrocynical was 18. This directly contradicts Pyrocynical's claims in his initial Reddit post response, where he states that Luan was 15 during the time of them speaking together. We know Pyrocynical to have lied about the age of Luan regardless, due to the fact that Luan made her date of birth known and her age was public knowledge regardless, meaning that the age gap between both Pyrocynical and Lu was 4 years 2 months. Now, in reference to when they had officially started dating, Luan claims it happened not long after they originally started to speak with one another, describing the situation as young love and claiming that they even with one another.
This develops into a romantic relationship. When did that take place?
Well, not very long after. I guess we'll have known each other for like a few months before this happened, in DMs, we did start maybe a little bit saying that, well, we like each other's personalities, and he appreciates what I do for him, and I appreciate his company. So it was quite, young love, like where you have a crush.
Right.
Yeah.
Were you...
Okay.
He said that, like, he never dated you, like that you weren't his girlfriend. But were you boyfriend and girlfriend?
Yeah, we were.
In the sense of, like, e-dating, right? Because you never met each other in real life, but you were e-dating online.
Exactly.
So not only does Luann state that the age gap was indeed 4 years, but she also attested that her and Niall were in an online relationship where apparently, according to her, they were with one another, directly contradicting Pyrocynical's initial Reddit statement where he is seen vehemently denying ever being in a relationship with this girl. Luann is seen further attesting that she was in an interview too, even claiming that Pyrocynical knew her date of birth, including what year she was born in, being 2001, and she has no idea why Pyrocynical lied to try and cover up her actual age, other than to make the age gap dynamic seem less concerning.
So at the time you were Pyro was 18, correct?
Yeah.
And when you were dating and considered boyfriend and girlfriend, and it was a short period of time, how long were you dating?
Only about 2 weeks.
2 weeks. So in the course of this 2 weeks, again, just for the internet's sake, what were the ages?
Still 18.
In his response, he said that you were 15 years old and he was 18. Why did he say that you were 15?
I have no idea. Maybe to make it less shocking. Maybe to make the age gap smaller by a year, because maybe people thought it would be not nicer, but less wrong because...
But what if Pyrocynical responds to this and says,
Yeah.
well, she lied about her age. She told me that she was older.
He knew I was born in 2001, which would have made me 14 years old when it was 2015.
I mean, it's obvious here, but like that's obviously only testimony. I wish that there was proof showing that.
Did he know the month you were born? I'm sorry, this is like, but we have to know this stuff because, if there's any little hole of like, plausible deniability, he's going to take it, right?
Well, we surely told each other's birthdays. I mean, it's what you do when you get to know someone. So he probably knew I was born in July.
Pyrocynical was seen in his Reddit post stating that the comment he made where he said he would be happy to wait for her to hit 16 inferred that nothing transpired between them, because he was happy to wait for her to reach the age of consent if they were to have ever engaged in a proper relationship. And this defense is not sufficient at all. Not only does it underline and highlight Pyrocynical's intent to wait for a 15-year-old to turn 16 before engaging with her in a proper relationship when he would have been 20, but it is clearly indicative of... When highlighting Pyrocynical's position, he was a massively popular content creator, and Luann had become a massive fan of his, by creating fan art and even attesting herself in an interview that he was her favorite creator.
I was a fan artist for him and his group of friends, so all these YouTubers...
You already played this. You already played this clip.
I drew him a lot because he was my favorite of them all.
Pyrocynical then engages in a romantic relationship with this girl shortly after, to which she claims it to be young love and that Pyrocynical was vicious.
In DMs, we did start maybe a little bit saying that, well, we like each other's personalities, and he appreciates what I do for him, and I appreciate his company. So it was quite, young love, like where you have a crush.
Now, despite the disparaging age gap dynamic between them, Pyrocynical was clearly not dissuaded by her age, and for anyone who would defend an age gap of 18 and a 15-year-old girl does not have the mental cognitivity present to understand the possible ramifications of engaging in a relationship with significantly older individuals, and that in turn makes them susceptible to forms of manipulation and vulnerable to either intentional or even unintentional.
It's intuitively wrong. The age gap's intuitively wrong. Just say it's wrong. It's wrong. It's already wrong. Okay? We don't need all the reasons that it's fucking wrong. It's already wrong. It's obviously wrong. It's a 4-year age gap. It's wrong. Like, it's just... Oh my fucking god, dude. Oh my god, dude. And playing the clips over and over again, I guess this is a section where he waffles on about the French girl for like 15 minutes.
Forms of or control exerted from the other party upon them. 14-year-olds are in a completely different spectrum of life compared to 18-year-olds who are just coming out of puberty and are adults legally culpable for their own actions. And a difference in maturity and mannerisms form a massive maturity difference and dynamic. The idea that an 18-year-old could date as long as it's platonic and only romantically driven does a disservice and attempts to discredit how the age gap dynamic is regardless, and that isn't even considering the fact that this 15-year-old was a massive fan of Pyrocynicals at the time, establishing a blatant power dynamic in play here too. The age gap regardless would be looked down upon by the majority of people in society and in the court of public opinion. The fact that Pyrocynical would see no problem with engaging in a romantic relationship with a fan of his who is considerably younger and then actively wait for her to turn the legal age of consent in his country before engaging in a relationship with her while he would have been 20 and she would have been 16 contains all the hallmarks for behavior, as he's conditioning them to accept a possible future relationship once they turn legal. By expressing willingness to wait as well, Pyrocynical was normalizing the idea of a relationship with her while she was still very much under, which is manipulative. The fact that, according to Luann, Pyrocynical ended the relationship out of fears of being seen as a highlight the fact that he wanted to keep this as secretive as possible and knew how unethical and immoral the relationship was. Regardless of if it only lasted 2 weeks or was not, he only ended the relationship, according to Luan, to protect his own image and reputation. He acknowledges that the age gap dynamic was flagrantly disgusting and could be viewed as but he continued nonetheless until people started looking into it. Only then did he cut her off.
He ends up in these DM conversations breaking it off with you, right?
Yeah.
And in the conversation, it's very clear that you're accusing him of breaking up with you because, you know, for fame, and he doesn't want it to hurt his YouTube channel, and he doesn't want to come across looking like a right? Was that the scenario? Why did you guys break up?
Well, when all these allegations came up, when either my friends or his friends wanted to make it all public, he came up to me saying that this won't work, that this will just, you know, make him seem like a very bad person, and he decided to tell me that we should just end everything.
Luan also attested that the relationship was not, and instead they only discussed topics to do with video games and fan art, and they shared selfies with one another. Luan affirmed that there was most likely an instance where she sent a picture of her face to Pyrocynical, and he claimed that she looked cute, and there were occasional instances where they complimented each other.
What was the relationship then?
Really, it was just like the most simple relationship you could ever imagine. I guess him and I had interest into games and what he was doing, as well as fan arts and all these things. We just got along well with our personalities as well. It was really simple. There was no.
I mean, was there any like you're cute, like I like that you're pretty, I like the way you look, like is there this type of stuff? Is that what we're talking about?
Probably, yeah, it is. I must have sent him like pictures of me, and I know he sent me a selfie once when he was with his dog, I think, and I did think he was cute.
Yeah.
And I think I made an exception for him and did show myself, and he probably highly said I was pretty.
Once again, this affirms the idea that it was originally an emotional and romantic relationship between the two parties, to which Pyrocynical was then seen actively highlighting his motives on them waiting for her to reach the age of consent, showing his intent on them wanting to have a relationship with her later on down the line. The idea made by anyone that he was not directly inferring this is completely illogical. He stated verbatim in his tweet response to Keemstar that he had no problem in waiting for her to reach the legal age of consent, and again in his Reddit response, he is seen stating that it was in reference to the possible scenario of them engaging in a proper relationship. It is evident what the connotations were. The fact that according to Luan, Pyrocynical dated her and according to her, most likely saw selfies of her face, calling her cute, is yet again another massive red flag which many people have simply just omitted. The fact that no one has highlighted the problem of a popular YouTuber who is an adult reaching out to an fan of theirs, then engaging in a close romantic and emotional relationship with them while highlighting their willingness to wait for them to become legal to then engage with them in the future is insane. It literally matches all the hallmarks for...
What did you say? What you said? What did you say?
Yeah, this one kind of repeated again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just
and the fact that anyone would defend an age gap dynamic as bad and as egregious as this is one thing, but for someone to not see the red flags present in a situation like this, or to even defend it, is seriously illogical. Now, the main situation people bring up to try and deflect away from the massive red flag present in regards to Pyrocynical having dated this French girl was the fact that another YouTuber, Ancient Reality, had dated Luan shortly after they had broken up with Pyro, with tweets showing that they were both publicly engaging with one another in February of 2016. At this time, Ancient Reality was 23, Luan was and the relationship lasted for slightly over a year and was absolutely horrible. Ancient Reality had engaged with the girl in real life, despite the disparaging age gap dynamic between them, and had used consistent emotional techniques, such as threatening, to keep Luan close to him. He was controlling and extremely... The actions committed by Ancient Reality, however, do not now magically nullify Pyrocynical's malicious intentions regardless. What Ancient Reality did was objectively and categorically repulsive. However, many users attempt to bring up the situation to try and shut down any justified criticisms towards Niall in regards to the French girl, and that is simply misplaced. Although Luan attested that the real problem was Ancient Reality, and she only had positive things to say about Niall, denying that he was a or that does not, under any circumstances, discredit Pyrocynical's intentions to wish to wait for her to reach the age of consent before engaging with her, when she would have been 16 and he would have been 20, and it certainly does not nullify Pyrocynical's attempt to lie to his own audience on numerous occasions, at first attempting to spin the story as a complete lie made by Keemstar, only to then be seen on his Reddit slowly conceding to more and more of the story, but still affirming that they never dated and lying that she was older. Pyrocynical is by definition a compulsive liar. He will lie consistently, only seen conceding to more of the situation when his defense and story is challenged with more evidence and proof, with more and more attention being brought onto it.
I recall the dynamic here being Pyrocynical, like admitting to a little bit or conceding to a little bit, but then it took more information coming out for him to then to concede to a bit more. And I can't remember the exact details of it, but it was this dynamic where it felt like he wasn't taking like accountability for something unless it was revealed very publicly.
Why do you have Chud Logic speculating on whether that happened when you already showed the proof that it did? What is the point of that fucking clip?
Another important point to address was in Pyrocynical's Reddit response. He is specifically seen stating that he originally came across the Skype group digging for information on him after one user had their ex-girlfriend see them being initially contacted by Keemstar on their stream. This ex-girlfriend then reached out to Niall to give him the information, and this is something very important that I wish to highlight. Pyrocynical is then seen specifically stating that, quote-unquote, later I was sent information of this individual who was present in the Skype chat, allegedly meeting with the girl when she was at the time and with her when he was 19. I confronted him about this and said how even though I have the information that he I won't make it public. Pyrocynical then follows up by specifying how he had medical proof that the girl was active in January 2015, which was the time that they were both in a relationship together. Pyrocynical was then seen stating that he chose not to name the individual involved on his own volition and how he doesn't want the comments to turn into a guessing game of whodunit. So Pyrocynical knew exactly who the popular creator was who with a while he was an adult, and even had proof and medical reports to add credibility towards the allegations, yet stated himself that he did not wish to make the information public and actively chose not to name the individual involved. The problem in this, of course, being that the unnamed individual Pyrocynical was referring to was a once popular montage parody channel named MLG Vagabonds, who went on to essentially get away with thanks to Niall not specifying his name and alias. Vagabonds shortly.
What does that have to do with like the stuff that he's done? Yeah, that's a bad thing to do. That's not very good.
After was seen consistently streaming for months preceding the situation, continuing to get money and donations from fans, and eventually even making the popular meme channel named Meme Corp, garnering over 1 million subscribers and millions upon millions of views, completely getting away with the situation unscathed. Pyrocynical had the evidence, he had the platform to call him out, and he even shared the medical reports of the girl. He actively chose on his own volition to not name the YouTuber who her. Now let's circle back to Toastify's video covering Ancient Reality, The French Girl, and Pyrocynical, which came out on July the 8th, 2023. In response, Colossal is Crazy was seen stating on Twitter that he and Pyrocynical would be addressing the allegations on the To Be Honest podcast, affirming as well that Pyrocynical never knew the actual age of Ancient Reality, and just assumed he was the same age as Luan, being 14 or 15, once again feigning the plausible deniability excuse. However, in Toastify's video interviewing Luan, she did attest that Pyrocynical apparently knew the age gap present between her and Ancient Reality, meaning that Pyrocynical was apparently aware of the 9-year age gap between them, and that she was dating a 23-year-old man at the age of, and yet he apparently said nothing and did nothing.
This is literally just focus on him being a sexual degenerate freak. You don't have to say that he like, oh, he knew about like other pedophiles and he didn't say anything.
To stop the relationship. Pyrocynical's knowledge of the relationship was also corroborated by the fact that he was seen referencing Mick, which is Ancient Reality's name, to Luan in private Twitter messages in March of 2016. However, Luan has been on record in the past stating that Pyrocynical nor his friends knew about the specific that she endured from Ancient Reality.
Okay, so did he try to like help you in any way?
No, I think he might have just wanted to completely like not get related to anything of this.
Alright, so he knew it was going on, but he didn't want to get involved.
Yeah, but like I said, he definitely didn't know what was going on, like, awfully in the back.
So he didn't know about these stuff?
No, he didn't know about it.
Toastify shortly after had made a YouTube community post casting doubt on the plausible deniability excuse that Pyrocynical had levied through Colossal is Crazy, who acted as his proxy. He highlighted how Snipers, once a close friend of Pyrocynical, had stated that Mick was 22 and was taken of a 15-year-old girl, to which he told directly to Keemstar. This can clearly be seen in a Reddit reply he made, and while he did not directly state that it was Ancient Reality, it was very easy to know who he was referring to. Toastify also highlighted how Lou attested herself that Pyrocynical knew of the actual age gap, followed by even highlighting that in videos created by Ancient Reality, it was easily discernible that he did not appear 15 in any of the instances, and that he clearly appeared to be an adult. Toastify even established a notorious video Ancient Reality had uploaded to the and even on other social media platforms, where he was seen onto a Minions toy, in which went around the community in mid-2015, with many people seen referencing it. If Pyrocynical had actually believed Mick, aka Ancient Reality, to have been the same age as the French girl, so 14 or 15 at this time, then how was he not concerned whatsoever about Ancient Reality uploading possible illicit material of himself when he was a and spreading it across the community and internet to other individuals? It would literally be a crime to disseminate this kind of content.
Yeah.
Even worse regarding all of this was that if Pyrocynical and others believed Ancient Reality to have actually been 14 or 15 at this time, then why did Pyrocynical not have a problem with his close associate Dolan Dark, who was 18 in 2015, making jokes to Ancient Reality based off of this video, inferring directly that he knew what happened in the video and he watched it? With all these variables collectively considered, it is extremely obvious that many things are not adding up, and Pyrocynical just wished to take another plausible deniability route to negate culpability once again. Either Pyrocynical lied through Colossal is Crazy to cover for the fact that he knew that Ancient Reality, his close friend and adult, was dating the same that he dated before, and he did nothing to stop the relationship with a 9-year age gap being present, or Pyrocynical is telling the truth and just self-reported that a close friend of his, Dolan Dark, had just watched what he personally believed to be content while he was an adult, and Pyrocynical did nothing to stop him. In both these scenarios, Pyrocynical shows a blatant lack of action. Very conveniently as well is the fact that despite Colossal openly stating that the French girl situation would be addressed by Pyrocynical, this never actually came into fruition. They instead continued making videos on the To Be Honest podcast channel, but they selectively ignored the topic and never once addressed it, with many users being seen replying asking for where the response was, but this all fell on deaf ears. This was all until the last baited podcast video addressing the I'm Alex situation, hosted by Keemstar, Colossal is Crazy, and Tommy C. Essentially, in this video, Keemstar brings up the French girl situation directly to Colossal and took him off guard. In response, Colossal is Crazy is seen becoming confrontational and attempts to drastically downplay the dynamic between both Pyrocynical, who was 18, and Luan, who was getting the age gap between them incorrect initially, and belittling the situation by claiming it to have been a nothing burger, selectively omitting Pyrocynical's intentions to wish to wait for her to become the legal age of consent.
Was he or was he not in a relationship with a girl that was, I believe it came out to be at the time?
He was in an E relationship. Nothing ever happened. Nothing ever occurred.
With an E relationship with a 14-year-old when he was what? I don't think he was 14. 19?
No.
No, she was. I interviewed her. We got the correct age.
He was 17.
Yeah, that's right. He no, he wasn't. No, he
was 17.
No, he wasn't.
Keemstar is always right, guys.
Not at that time.
Yes, he was.
Not at that time. He wasn't 17
Nothing
at that
ever
time.
happened. No exchanged. Just a big nothing burger. Meanwhile, Keemstar is dating someone 20 years younger than him.
In the following 2 segments I wish to show as well, Colossal is seen conceding that the age gap was instead 4 years, not 3 years, but is once again attempting to justify an 18 and 14-year-old online dating by using the high school dynamic excuse and brushing off the fact that Pyrocynical lied numerous times about it ever happening by once again stating that the situation was a nothing burger to begin with.
But I do find it ironic that you would take offense.
Sound like you were.
I'm not calling you. I do find it ironic, however, that you would call someone like Pyrocynical for an E-relationship with a 3-year age gap or 4-year age gap. I don't know.
Go Google it. Yeah, go Google the ages, people. Go Google the ages.
I don't know. I get confused because you got them wrong like 8 times.
Hey, in fairness, the clown, we didn't figure out that girl was 14 until like 2 years ago. We did like most people thought we couldn't prove she even existed.
Yeah. What was she accusing him of? Nothing. She had nice things to say. Where was the video? Where's the story? There's nothing.
She did have nice things to say.
You had Jack. You couldn't make it about Pyrocynical, but you were desperately trying to.
The ages, clown. The ages. The ages.
Who gives I mean, who gives a nothing happened. They E-dated while they were both teenagers. Who gives a
Clown, your friend, your buddy came out and lied multiple times on Reddit about that scenario, and you're going to defend him?
I am going to defend him because there was nothing. It's a big nothing burger.
He lied.
I will say this. I will say this.
Oh, so you're not going to you're going to defend him and his lies, clown? Really?
Share of manipulation to protect himself.
Thank you.
But I have to also agree.
He lied through his teeth.
I don't deny that, but there was nothing there. I mean, when the truth is out, you say lied. Okay, truth comes out. Well, there's nothing there.
Dude, classic Tommy C. Fucking fence sitting.
Nothing burger. Absolutely
nothing there other than the fact that the ages and the E relationship. Nothing there though.
High school.
He was high school age.
Not just a high school thing. Not just high school drama. Because it's all on the internet. They never even met in person.
Why should you talk? Let me talk.
Many people believe Pyrocynical's response as Keemstar had an already tainted credibility at the time and was seen as an inconsistent and unreliable narrator.
Yeah.
I think the high school defense is probably one of the main reasons why we went into why the 18-14 relationship shit is bad. Maybe that's why.
Well, okay, but you go into it once, not 30 times, you know?
Of allegations, as he had consistently changed the ages of the French girl and didn't develop a cohesive video on the subject, clearly illustrating to viewers that she was a real individual. Ultimately, it was easier for Pyrocynical to get an upper hand in this situation because Keemstar at the time was making claims which were seen as ultimately baseless and out of emotion and vitriol. Keemstar was also seen as being unable to take criticism. That's why still to this day, people consistently cast down the veracity of this situation, despite it being completely true. I find it insane the double standard present on the internet. Pyrocynical fans would attempt to claim that anyone who brings these allegations up are simply reviving old drama, as if that invalidates any of Pyrocynical's actions whatsoever. Pyrocynical was an adult who abused the platform and position he had to consistently send for to a fan of his who was 4 years younger than him and engaged in based discussions with them in 2016 all the way to 2018, and he actively got away with it. However, other content creators such as Ava Chris Tyson or Dr. Disrespect, who were also seen inappropriately engaging with fans of theirs spanning from 2017 and 2018, were justifiably completely ostracized from their platforms and were called out, regardless of how many years ago the incidents actually were. The double standard is glaring and it works like a charm for Pyrocynical because his fans will consistently defend him and excuse his behavior with insane mental gymnastics, no matter how reprehensible they were. People specifically treat Pyrocynical different because they want to believe that he is innocent, not because he actually is. And this all gets even worse when analyzing another glaring red flag present in Pyrocynical's response video, where he attempts to belittle and minimize the situation to do with a 4-year-old girl who he pushed to create furry content for him when he was 19 in 2016. Essentially, an artist on Instagram known as Spoopy Scary Aliens was a large fan of Pyrocynical's and had created fan of him, including an image of Pyrocynical's character cuddling a body pillow. As a result, Pyrocynical liked the art and privately messaged them on Twitter, stating, "Why is your pic me with a body pillow?" and that it was not thick enough. In another instance, Pyrocynical was then seen asking the girl how old she was, to which she stated that she was 15. This was then followed by the 15-year-old being pressed to create the thick furry content regardless.
Pressed? Do we have proof that she was pressed? Okay? Be careful with your wording. It's already bad enough that they were 15, he was 19, and that she made pornographic art or somewhat pornographic art. Okay? It's already bad enough. You don't have to say pressed unless you have fucking proof of it.
By Pyrocynical knowing her age, and she even stated to a friend verbatim that Niall demanded her.
He demanded I do it. Okay.
Do it. One look at her Instagram page at the time, and she openly shows that she attended school, and it was incredibly easy to discern the fact that she was any age gap present between this girl and Pyrocynical.
She already said that she was 15. You don't have to prove it.
Was about 3 years, 7 to 8 months. This is due to the girl having stated that she was almost 20 as of mid-December 2020. This even meant that she turned 20 in December 2020 or January 2021.
She already told her age to Pyrocynical. You don't have to prove it.
Pyrocynical, as we discussed earlier, was born on May the 14th, 1997, making him at the time of him pushing it to create out for him 19. He was 19 years old when this transpired in 2016.
On a side note, unrelated to this doc, I've actually seen screenshots circulating around of someone who drew fan art of my Fox character back in 2016. I then apparently replied to them jokingly saying not thick enough, and then asking for their age, and they said 15. So when people saw this, they instantly drew parallels to the allegation. I asked them for a thick version, and they drew this, which isn't even really that different from previous things they drew before even getting into contact with me.
In this allegation, Pyrocynical attempts to conflate the situation to the Ivory allegations to then dispel the idea that the two incidents are similar. This is done to meticulously play down the severity of this specific situation. Just because the behavior is not indicative of does not now make this behavior acceptable. He was a 19-year-old man messaging a fan significantly younger than himself to create art that conforms to his desires. He used his influence and power dynamic present once again to have him engage with his. He also attempts to excuse the art they created, which he pushed them into doing by attempting to bring up other examples of art that they had created, as if that suddenly nullifies his complicity in this situation. Yes, the 15-year-old created artwork beforehand, but how is that now a logical excuse whatsoever for prying her to create content to conform to your desires? It is a completely irrelevant defense, and it obviously is only included to play down the severity of the situation.
I didn't commission it. What was drawn wasn't. They'd drawn very similar stuff before, and there was no roleplay here. It was nothing.
He attempts to feign the idea that he wasn't entirely culpable in the situation, as he did not personally commission the artwork, but again using web manipulation to undermine his involvement. According to the girl who was 15 at the time, she attested to a friend that now demanded her to create this content. Even by examining remnants of the Twitter messages between her and Pyrocynical, you could.
Okay, so the best you have is testimony. Just say that and move on.
Clearly see that he was pestering her for fake content. He was asking her to do it.
He was not pestering her. He said one thing, dude.
He openly.
In the screenshot that you show, if there's more, then that should be shown. Otherwise, you can't say pestering.
Lies claiming that the art wasn't, despite the art not only being inherently showing thicker proportions, but also regarding the fact that his character is clearly seen having a and larger defined laying on bed sheets. This art piece was clearly made to elicit a reaction because it was created to conform to Niall's, and the art was intended for purposes to argue that the creation of this artwork was not to play into Niall's fantasy is simply untrue.
That being said, it was incredibly irresponsible of me, and not my best look, I admit. But this isn't at all comparable to the current situation.
Pyrocynical claims to have taken accountability by claiming that it was irresponsible for him to have engaged with this. But then he is seen waging cheap excuses to belittle the situation or state that it wasn't on the same level of severity as the Ivory allegations, which ultimately only serves to make his accountability statement seem weak and disingenuous. Just because the girl herself stated that the situation should not be taken seriously, once again does not fundamentally change anything. And this situation still serves to show one example of a long reoccurring and concerning pattern of Pyrocynical engaging in either face discussion with or pushing to conform to his desires. Even in this case, Pyrocynical had clearly asked for her age and continued despite her stating that she was 15. But we are meant to magically...
Yeah, that's bad. You should have said that at the beginning, right? That's a point that you make. That's good.
Be under the idea that he never once knew of Ivory's age or once asked for his age from the start of his messages on November 10th, 2016 to July the 5th, 2017, when Ivory linked his Twitter bio with his age present, which is extremely implausible and hard for anyone to believe. As a result of this video coming out, fans of Pyrocynicals now have the ability to have a larger outlook regarding this entire situation and to come to a new perspective on how bad the age gap and power dynamics were in regards to all these situations, as well as the egregious lies that now had pushed to his audience, as well as the misinformation created by other members of his fanbase that spread, essentially allowing him to get away with his actions unscathed for numerous years. However, I'm certain that many will still attempt to deflect away from the allegations of Pyrocynical by attempting to utilize ad hominems and methods of whataboutism to attack my credibility rather than the validity of my claims. They have also attempted to do this with Ivory himself, when they attempted to create Reddit posts presenting him as some kind of despite him actually having comprehensive message logs displaying a violent dynamic present between him and Pyrocynical that many people didn't decide to break down and actually analyze until now. Pyrocynical fans were also seen doing this in regards to the dupe situation, where they spread false allegations against me, attempting to defame me as a before even hearing my side of the story, before my video and document even came out on Pyrocynical.
Why are you bringing this up, man?
Honestly, yeah.
What the fuck are you bringing this up for?
Now I see why like making this about yourself in the end. I don't think you should make it at all. Yeah.
Oh my god.
To preemptively tarnish my credibility, so my research would not be taken seriously. It was malicious, it was deliberate, and it was meticulously done. And no matter what character attacks his fanbase present or methods of victim blaming they use against victims, it will not fundamentally.
So you're saying that the fans like had this plan to undermine your criticism by like saying that you're a fucking like pedophile and shouldn't be talking about this? You're saying that they knew what they were doing? Are you fucking retarded?
Change anything and will only make themselves collectively look worse. They'll be seen as immature, ill-tempered, and desperate if they are unable to actually tackle any of the points I make in this video and instead go for weak ad hominem attacks instead. That will just prove how pathetic they all are by drastically attempting to deflect the situation away from the numerous victims of Pyrocynical. Pyrocynical fans will also attempt to utilize the excuse that this happened years ago, despite that defense not being valid whatsoever. The same excuse was levied by Dr. Disrespect fans and even fans of Ava Chris Tyson, who both engaged in inappropriate conduct online with years ago, with Dr. Disrespect engaging inappropriately with an girl in 2017, and Ava Chris Tyson having an expansive history of behavior around from 2016 to 2018. The fact these situations transpired years ago changed nothing. They were adults behaving inappropriately with to fans of their content. Why should Pyrocynical be treated any different now that it's been proven that he lied about the French girl to his fans in his initial video on Keemstar, as well as his initial Reddit statement, and now that it's been proven that he lied about the Ivory situation on his massive response video to millions of people? Pyrocynical is a proven compulsive liar, and he even avoided addressing the French girl once again in a TVH podcast and got away with it. His accountability statement in his response video was completely insincere, as he wedged it with constant belittlement and played down the severity of his base dynamic with a fan. He only took partial accountability and then denied the severe aspects of the allegations to give the impression to his fanbase that he was entirely being honest, and it's astonishing how he pulled the wool over hundreds of thousands of people's eyes until now. The other term they use to lambast anyone who calls out Niall as well is claiming they're a clout chaser. They'll do this to desperately undermine any actual valid points brought up against Pyrocynical and to brush off any actual criticism levied. It's another example of a weak ad hominem made to throw at people to once again attack their character rather than the validity of any of their points. Ultimately, regarding this entire situation, Pyrocynical's response video was filled with lies and only served to simply just belittle the situation and manipulate his own impressionable viewer base. Pyrocynical was never innocent, and large portions of his fanbase allowed misinformation to spread, in which led to victims being silenced, hurt, and harassed. But now it's a chance for the truth to come out and for Pyrocynical to be actually held accountable. His lack of accountability for the French girl situation is just yet more proof of how he's willing to ignore serious situations in hope that it will simply just die down so he can get away with it again. It is stunning to see his audience still defend him to this day, when Niall wouldn't hesitate to lie to their faces about never dating the French girl or the numerous inconsistencies in his response video regarding Ivory. If Pyrocynical has deliberately manipulated his fans numerous times and refused to be transparent, why do they still relentlessly defend him, except for the fact that they desperately wish to believe he's innocent, and in doing so, they would undermine and discredit actual victims in the process.
Stop trying to fucking get into the psychology of the fans. Who cares? Who fucking cares?
I hope this video and other videos to follow, along with the release of my document, serves to prompt more victims of Pyrocynical to feel comfortable to come out about their experiences, and I hope the disgusting and malicious mob mentality present inside of Pyrocynical's fanbase can cease, because they're affecting actual victims. In case of my document's deletion, it will be consistently re-uploaded and will be uploaded to archive websites such as Catbox, and PDF files will be present in my Discord server if you wish to download them.
PDF files are present in Parlo's Discord server. You heard it here first, folks, okay? PDF files are in Parlo's Discord server. Make of that what you will.
Also greatly appreciate if you could like and share this video around the community too, in hopes that as many people as possible can actually open their eyes in regards to what actually transpired. Pyrocynical was never innocent.
Pyrocynical.
Over the course of the past
Okay. So, my honest thoughts.
Wait. Before you give your honest thoughts, wait. One thing that we're going to do very quickly. We're going to restart stream one more time to try to give chat a chance to be able to ask questions and call in if they would like, okay? So we're going to do the call-in portion and kind of the breakdown portion of the stream now, okay? And so I'm going to try one more time to restart stream just so that they can kind of call in if they would like, and they can, you know, have this opportunity to like actually give their thoughts and everything like that. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna do it one more time here. Give their thoughts and everything like that. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna do that. All right. Great. So I'm gonna end stream real quick, and then we're just gonna restart. All right. I don't know why that glitch is happening.